What's going on, trainers? It is your boy ADRIZZY here, back again with another tabletop match. This match is Johnny on the left and myself on the right. Johnny right now is flipping to see who goes first. I believe I called tails and it ended up having to be heads, so Johnny chose to go first. As you saw in the title, we have Garb versus Decidueye Vileplume. I am playing Decidueye Vileplume. These decks, or the deck list I should say, are taken straight from the North American Intercontinental Championships, so this is the finals match. I am playing John Kettler's list while Johnny is playing Tord Reklev's list. I sure hope I didn't butcher his last name. I apologize. So Johnny got this mulligan right off the bat. Hopefully it gives me an option to get a turn 1 Vileplume, unless he ends knowing that I drew an extra card. So we saw that I actually started with Rowlet up top, and my bench Pokemon, I can't remember, I believe was an Oddish. We'll see. Johnny's drawing a fresh hand already, trying to get a basic, see if we can do it. And if you guys saw the NAIC finals match, you know that Tord ended up taking a 2-0 win over this Decidueye list. So I wanted to put it to the test and see if we play any differently, or there's a different outcome. So I was very excited to try this match. We're just setting up the board state right now and shake hands, give each other good luck. So I do have the Rowlet in the active. I take my 1 card for the mulligan, which I believe was a Rowlet as well, and the Oddish. Johnny ends right away, only having 2 Trubbish in his board. I probably would have, not sure what Johnny had in his hand, but the good play is always Bridget, especially for that Garb, getting the Drampas out and Trubbishes so you can evolve right away. He must not have had anything. I'm over here trying to grab, or trying to start drawing cards without having Johnny cut. That's one of the ways I cheat. I cheat to win. I'm just kidding, no cheating. Please don't cheat. So Johnny gets a fresh hand, see what he can work with, and he decides to pass, I believe. So yep, it looks like I am checking my hand. I have a level ball. Let's see, I see a Dartrix, a Forest of Giant Plants, a Lysander, and a Vileplume. I draw for turn, and I grabbed a Revitalizer. Really can't use that right now since I haven't discarded anything. Revitalizer brings up 2 grass Pokemon from your discard onto your hand. So I'll play the level ball, and I'm going to grab a Gloom. So I am aiming to get that turn 1 Vileplume. Getting that turn 1 is actually going to be crucial in this match, limiting Johnny to just supporters. I know he runs 4 Lele's in this deck, so if he happens to come across a Lele, he's going to be able to grab that supporter and be able to use it, whether it's an N, Sycamore. We see me play down the Forest of Giant Plants, evolving both my basics into their stage 1s, and I pass. Johnny draws for turn, attaches that Psychic Energy right away. So that might be his Trashalanche Garb. Okay, so he's going to VS Seeker. You guys can't hear him say this, but he VS Seekers for the N. I showed him that I had the Vileplume in hand. I didn't play the Vileplume that same turn simply because it would have locked me out as well. And if I lock myself out without having anything as far as board state goes, I'm in deep trouble just as much as he is. Is that we both still have 6 cards to draw. Nobody has taken any prizes yet. Fresh new hand. I see I have a Decidueye and a Dartrix, another Forest, and a Field Blower. That Field Blower I only run 1 of, so I want to hold on to it just in case Johnny gets that Garbatox and Garbodor out. I can Field Blower it, and then my Vileplume will come into play. So here Johnny's doing Acid Spray. He didn't have to flip. He thought I had an energy, but it's just a Rowlet behind my Dartrix. So he's doing 10 damage. If I had an energy, he could have flipped heads and then discarded that energy. I draw for turn. I drew into a Lysander. I evolve into Decidueye right away. So now I can start adding pressure and damage onto Johnny's board state. I Lele, Wonder Tag ability. Such a good card. And I grab the N as well. Yeah, and I'm going to play it. So here I'm gonna try and look for the Floatstone and Vileplume, and if I can get out more evolutions from Decidueye. That'll be pretty good. I see 2 Trainer's Mails, a Shaman, and an Ultra Ball, and the Lele. So I can't use I can't use any supporter again this turn, but I see myself playing that first Trainer's Mail. Ultra Ball is probably the only thing I can grab. I choose not to. I don't shuffle because I'm just going to go back in. Ultra Ball. Let's see. Trainer's Mail, and I can't tell what that card is. Looks like a Forest of Giant Plants. Now I'm just going to do a quick deck search. I cut out the whole deck search. I'm sure you guys don't want to see that. You guys want to get to the point. I grab a Rowlet. Trying to grab another Decidueye. So I Shaman here. Grabbing more cards. I Feather Arrow the active Trubbish, adding 2 damage counters onto that. Putting a little bit of pressure. Now I gotta be careful here discarding all these items because Johnny can simply evolve into the Trashulance Garbodor and start adding heavy damage to my Pokemon. So I grab that Dartrix, evolve right away. And I have that Lele in my hand as well as a Shaman. So I Shaman again for a total of 5 more cards. Just trying to get either that Vileplume, I see that Floatstone, and a Dartrix. So I didn't get the Vileplume or the Dartrix. I have a Sycamore. I already played my supporter per turn, so I decide, actually, you know what? Yeah, I remember doing that. I was going to play down on the Gloom, but I realized that Johnny also plays Field Blower, so I decided to hold it in my hand until I absolutely need it. So Johnny just played Energy, I think it was a DCE onto the Drampa. Okay, evolves the Garbodor, or evolves the Trubbish, I should say, I'm sorry, into Garbodor. I'm counting the items I have. And Johnny Lele's for a Lysander, so he might try to bring up something and knock it out. If I have 6 items in my discard right now, he's doing 120 damage, knocking out easily either of those 2 Shamans for the 2 easy prizes. Yep, there he goes. So he knocks out, taking 2 prizes. So you can see how clutch these 4 Leles are, you know. He already played 1. He does play 4. So he's, even if he is item locked, he's always able to grab any supporter he may need if he has a Lele in his hand. So I attach a DCE onto my Lele. I can always use that Energy Drive. It does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to both Pokemon. I attach the Floatstone to the Gloom, and I end. And as I was editing this clip, if I remember correctly, I actually, for some reason, only drew 4 cards off of this end, thinking that I had 4 cards left, 4 prizes left, I should say, when I, in fact, had 6. So you see me draw 3, 4, and I stay there. Play down the Rowlet, so ADRIZZY over here is making amateur plays. First I forget prize cards. Now I forget how many prize cards I took or didn't take, I should say. So I'm gonna do the Feather Arrow to the active Garbodor, and then attack with Energy Drive. So that Garbodor is about to be knocked out next turn. He's at 100 damage, so he only has 20 left. Yeah, I still can't believe I only drew 4 cards, guys. So he plays down that Flowstone onto that benched Trubbish. That might be the one he's aiming to turn into the Garbatoxin Garbodor, shutting off my Feather Arrows and the Vileplume lockout once I get it. He attaches that Choice Band, adding 30 damage, and he VS Secret with the Lysander. Like I said, you guys can't hear it, but I'm hearing it in my ears right now. And he's going to Trashulance for, let's see, it was 12 at first, so it might be 150. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 times 2 is 120, plus 30 damage is that 150. It's a lot of damage, and I already have that 10 damage on me right now, so my Decidueye is at 160. And all it takes is the 1 energy and a 1 tool, I should say. So I drew into Lele. I Feather Arrow right away. That knockout, I drew an oddish. Probably not something I wanted to see. He brings up the Drampa with the DCE already. I attach the DCE, retreat. I do not want that Decidueye getting knocked out since it's my only one. And I Energy Drive here, I believe, for 2, 4, 6, 8. 80 damage on the Drampa, leaving it with 100 HP left. Let's see, Johnny's going to play another tool. So he's attaching a second Floatstone onto that bench Trubbish, and he plays the N. Hopefully I remember to draw 5 cards this time. As I was editing, you guys, I was just shaking my head. Johnny didn't even realize it. I didn't realize it. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I remember that time. I had the Vileplume in hand, another DCE. And I saw that I had that Lele in my hand as well, so I can always, if any of my Pokemon get knocked out, I can search for a supporter, maybe an N, and disrupt Johnny's hand a little bit more, knocking him down to maybe 2. Drew for turn. I drew the Ultra Ball, so I'm going to play down, not that you can't evolve a Dartrix into a Dartrix, ADRIZZY. Gosh, I'm just making fails left and right now. So I Ultra Ball the Gloom and the Lele away. I might be looking for a Decidueye since I already have 2 Dartrixes ready to go, ready to evolve. Evolve into the second Decidueye. So now I'm doing 40 damage on Johnny's board before attacking. Johnny used that Righteous Edge, by the way, discarding my DCE, but I had the one I grabbed from the end, so I'm able to attack again. So I used both Feather Arrows to put 40 damage on the bench Drampa. And I'm going to use Energy Drive for the knockout, taking my next 2 prizes, which are 2 energies. By the way, I didn't mention this, but I had 3 basic grass energies prized. So I just grabbed 2 of the 3 that were prized. That last turn I also played down Vileplume, so Johnny can no longer attach or play any item cards. He does, however, have a Lysander. He Lysanders up my bench Shaman, and he passes. He's hoping to stall this out, maybe put a little damage on the Shaman. I am going to draw for turn. As you see, I have those 2 grass energies from my prizes. I grabbed the Dartrix from my top deck. And here I'm going to attach the grass energy onto Shaman, simply because Shaman has a retreat cost of 1, or I could attach the second one and Sky Return, bringing back my 2 grass energies, and Shaman is no longer a liability. I do the Feather Arrows to the Drampa, and I pass. Johnny draws for turn. He has 2 cards in his hand. I can't quite tell. Alright, so one of them is a Rainbow Energy. He adds 10 damage to the benched Garbodor. That's actually a good play, because if he can use Drampa's second attack, which is Berserk, he can actually do 150 damage, if I'm not mistaken, simply because his bench Pokemon has damage counters on it. So Johnny's going to grab 3 cards, or 4, compared to my 3. But I did, however, draw into the Field Blower, which I can't use, obviously, but if he happens to evolve into a Garbodor, then I'll be able to use it, remove the tool, and my item lock is back. I have an N and a Sycamore, so I'm in a pretty good state right now. Okay, so Johnny just now placed the Garbodor with the Carbotoxin ability. Now all items are back online. He uses Super Rod to bring back 2 energies. And what else, Johnny? What are you grabbing? A Drampa. Okay, so he's grabbing Drampa and 2 energies, shuffling them back into his deck. Not his hand, I'm sorry. And he is going to pass. He didn't attach any energies. He didn't have any in his hand. I draw for turn. I play Field Blower, taking out both Floatstones. Now my items are back online, and I play that Sycamore. I actually top decked another Sycamore, so I'm discarding 2 Sycamores and an N. Fresh card of 7. Hopefully I can grab another Decidueye, evolve that Dartrix. And there we go. There it is. I'm doing 60 damage now. Not including my attack. I'm doing 60 damage counters anywhere I want on Johnny's board. So he's just fixing the dice, making it a little more precise, I guess. He didn't want to use 4 and 4. He changed to 6 and 2. I'm going to go 3 feather arrows to the benched Garbodor. Let's see. And I'm attaching a second energy, as I mentioned before, to my Shaman Sky Returning. And I'm bringing up Lele with the DCE. Now, since Johnny didn't attach energy this turn, I'm assuming he can't draw into anything. So I brought up the Lele with the DCE, hoping it doesn't get knocked out, or the energy doesn't get discarded with Righteous Edge. And Johnny actually plays Sycamore. He placed on the DCE, as you saw, so he will be able to discard that energy, but will be knocked out, I believe. Let's see, he has 60. He's at 11. So yes, it'll be a clean knockout with my 3 feather arrows. He plays Lele. He already played Sycamore, so he can't play the supporter he searches for, but he grabs the teammates, anticipating the knockout next turn. He'll be able to use teammates and grab any 2 cards from his deck that he needs to help him maybe swing the game in his favor. So he's going to use Righteous Edge for 20 more damage, and it discards my DCE. I'm going to draw for turn. Let's see, so I have a level ball. I saw that level ball. Can't use it, obviously. Irritating Pollen is in effect. So I'm going to actually I'm actually calculating here, doing damage onto the Garbodor. The reason I removed the Garbodor first was that way Johnny is stuck using its first attack. I mean, he can use the second attack, but it won't be doing enough damage because none of his Pokemon have damage on the bench, if that makes sense. And I Lysander up the Garbatoxin, knowing that he can't attack with that. It's a heavy attack cost and a heavy retreat cost. I attach the Grass Energy to my Lele. I can't attack since I need 2 energies in order to use Energy Drive, and I pass. Now Johnny is stuck. He cannot play any Float Stones because of Irritating Pollen, and sadly I know this deck does not run any Hex Maniac, which was interesting. Johnny attaches the Psychic Energy onto Drampa, so now he's able to use that second attack if he wants to, but it's first things first, he needs to get that Garbodor out. He Lele'd his 3rd Lele for N, bringing me down to 2 cards. He's still going to have 4. He's trying to find something, some way, if he can get that Garbodor out, he'd have a chance. Other than that, I'm going to be feather arrowing onto the bench Drampa, hopefully to take my last 2 prizes. So he passes. I drew into that Force of Giant Plants, so I'm going to retreat, bring up the Decidueye that has no damage, attach the Grass Energy, and maybe Hollow Hunt if I remember correctly. So I'm using 6 damage, putting 6 damage using 3 feather arrows onto that bench Drampa, leaving him with only 10 damage left, 10 HP left I should say. And I Hollow Hunt, grabbing a Lysander, a DCE, and a second DCE. Those are the 3 cards I grabbed, bringing those back into my hand. Johnny needs to play an N if he wants me to disrupt my hand. Now he needs to get that Garbodor out. If he cannot get that Garbodor out, it's going to be game the next turn. He attaches a DCE. He has the Rainbow Energy in his hand, as I saw, but he can't attach twice in 1 turn. He's thinking, and he's going to pass. I draw for turn. I actually draw into another DC, so I would have had 3 in my hand. I used the 6 damage counters, 3 feather arrows I should say, onto the bench Drampa for the game. And you see there I had a Decidueye and a Grass Energy prize. 3 Grass Energies prize that game. Still managed to pull through. This game was actually pretty fun. Johnny couldn't draw well as soon as the Vileplume came out, but that happens with item lock. I hope you guys enjoyed this tabletop match. Hope you enjoyed my commentary. Please go ace on that like button. Subscribe if this is your first time here. We're going to have tabletop matches every Saturday. And remember, train on.